Good evening, everyone. I'm here on behalf of the people of Ghana with some guests on the show to actually ask them some serious questions about the manifesto which they've actually brought out. And this manifesto was brought out a month ago. The guest that we've got here this evening is Dr. Joe Ajimai, who is a pharmacist and a lecturer, and his specialty is in gas and oil management, and he has masters in pharmacy and PhD in strategy. We've also got here Mr. Awudusani, who has MSc management in business information technology. And down the line, we are going to get a resource man who is called Dr. Yakubu Salifu, who is a lecturer in Lancaster, and his specialty is in palliative care. This evening, these gentlemen are going to tell us why they feel the manifesto is going to bring well-being to the people in Ghana. Now, the first question that I'm going to ask is, in the manifesto, you guys have said, we're going to talk about health, basically, currently. And the manifesto now, the areas we're going to touch is going to be health. The first question I'm going to ask you, Dr. Joe, is that in the manifesto, it states that we're going to give free primary health care. How do you intend to do that? And what do you think the importance of that is?
Okay. Thank you very much. And greetings to all viewers. First of all, let me explain what primary health care is.
Okay.
Primary health care is the first contact or first point of call.
Okay.
When somebody is not well.
Okay.
They go there and the person can be diagnosed. And if it's a serious disease, then it can move on to other secondary health care. The primary health care got 5 principles.
Okay.
It got accessibility, public participation,
okay,
health promotion. We got appropriate technology these days, in these modern days, and inter-secretarial cooperation, where when the doctor or somebody in the primary health care cannot deal with the situation, can refer to specialist hospital or the secondary health care. And saying that, we got examples where majority, especially Ghana, the NDC government, the next NDC government would like to do. Health promotion is very, very important when it comes to primary health care.
Okay.
Because health promotion can prevent serious diseases. And the money that the government will use to deal with the serious disease, if we are able to prevent it, that can save money for other things as well. Then we have health maintenance. People who are diabetic, they got hypertension. If they are able to maintain and take their medicines and look after, it will go on to become, say, what they call stroke or something that costs the nation a lot of money. Then we have early diagnosis, which I've already said. If you're able to diagnose the disease earlier on, you're able to treat it. And then we have treatment of chronic and acute diseases.
Yes.
And these are. But this is the biggest single intervention, social intervention, that any party can bring to Ghana, which is the NDC. Because under the primary health care, the next NDC government will make sure healthcare becomes accessible and then it's free of charge.
So how do they intend to do that?
Okay, what the NDC government would like to do is, from all the cheap compounds, from the polyclinics, health center, all the way to district hospital, they'll be able to access.
Would that be implemented in the rural areas as well?
Yeah, the rural areas where it's inaccessible. NDC, the previous government was having Oniado van, which this government, due to some reasons, left them to rot. And then we are having other ship along the voter, line. Yes. And then we're helping people. So with all this in place, people will be able to access help that they need to prevent disease that, if you can prevent it early, it will go on to become something serious. Okay. So it's a good thing. And then apart from that, this will give people employment. More pharmacists, more nurses, they'll be employed to do the job, because this is a big thing that is coming to Ghana. And then a lot of people, like the healthcare professionals, will be able to work or get employment to do that.
How are they going to train people to actually do that? Because as you're rightly saying, they're going to get professionals, because we need people that will be in charge of these areas. I think the current government sent about 40 people to Cuba to go and train.
250.
Is it 250? The current people, 250?
Oh, sorry. Current
government. I'm talking about the current government.
Okay.
Yeah. I'm not talking about the past government. I'm talking about the current government. They sent 40 medical students to Cuba to go and train. How come the previous government did not do that?
No, we did that. We sent 250 people.
Yes.
And then within the 250 people, what makes me that the people from deprived areas, people from somewhere like Islamic background, they were given the opportunity to go there. So when they come back, they'll be able to look after these people, their own people. Okay. And then people who are brilliant but brainy, that they haven't got money.
Yes.
And then you call them that they are needy. The government chose these people, send them to Cuba, and then when they come back, they should be able to go to their main communities and work there, rather than somebody somewhere and after, I would like to stay in Kumasi, I would like to stay in Accra, Koforidia. But these people coming from rural areas and would like to join their own people. That's what the previous NDC government. Unfortunately, this government came and then said, no, I'm only sending 40 people.
So what happened to the people that the NDC, the 250, that you're saying that the previous government took to Cuba? What happened to them now? Because they're all fully trained, aren't they?
Yeah, they are.
Okay.
When they came back, due to NDC MPP politics, due to that, when they came back, most of them now still looking for job.
And how long ago has this been?
Ever since we were in power. So when they came back, because what we did was, people were graduating like year on and year on. And they started doing the first NDC government when President Rawlings was in power. And then a lot of people came back and then we employed them. Okay. But unfortunately, this government is not seeing, it's playing politics for people's health. Instead of absorbing these people to help the health system. And then I must say something here. When you look at doctors per person in Ghana, Ghanaian population, every one doctor is to 10,450.
Wow.
When you look at the World Health Organization, it's talking about one doctor, 1,000, I'll check the figure for you.
Okay. Okay, so as you're checking it now, there's another question. As you're checking it, don't forget what you're checking. Have you got?
Yeah, I've got that. Yeah.
All right.
According to Commonwealth,
yes.
If you're a member of Commonwealth,
yes,
what they recommend or they want you to get to that point is one doctor is to 5,000 people.
Okay.
And then World Health Organization is saying one doctor is to 1,320.
Okay.
And if you think about Ghana, one doctor is to 10,450, and we've got all these doctors coming back, and this government said, I'm not employing them due to politics, playing politics with people's life. Can you imagine?
Do you think the NDC government, in case they come in power, they'll be able to deliver. Can we trust them to deliver the healthcare infrastructure?
Yes, we've done it before. When we were in power,
okay,
we were able to build so many hospitals and then upgrade them. Okay. One of the hospitals that let me mention two.
Okay.
The University of Ghana Medical Center is one of them, where if you heard one minister went there and he said he was having holiday.
Yes, was having a holiday.
Yeah, because he had COVID disease, and he didn't want people to know, and he said he was having holiday because that place looks like abroad. Okay. So he's having a holiday. That's what he told people. And then another thing is Rich Hospital, where President Trump's wife came to Ghana. This is the first thing President Kufu and his people took the lady and he said, "Wow, I've never seen this in a developing country."
Okay.
And this is the hands of President John Mahama and the old NDC government. We know how to do it, but unfortunately, as soon as there were so many hospitals that we were building, so many hospitals that we were building.
Yes.
Kumawu, Tepa, so many, Akasi, and then so many. But when this government came in, they stopped all this, and now this hospital is sitting there and it's becoming forest.
Okay. Now, you've given us a bit of the health background. I want to go to Mr. Awudusani. He's going to actually be talking about human development and social protection, gender and social inclusion, and social protection. What do you think? Because in the manifesto that we've got now, in our society, we've got loads of vulnerable people. And these vulnerable people are the elderly, the children who are being abused, who are selling things on the side of the road. We've got people in the Zongo communities. How does this manifesto intend, especially the Kayayos and stuff, how does this manifesto intend to try and improve on these areas?
Thank you very much, Madam Beatrice. And social intervention is very important in our body politics. As a third world country, we are all aware of the fact that opportunities are not in abundance.
Which is true.
Hence, management of human capital is very important. You could see within our communities the social divide. Growing up in Nima, I know what it is to come from inner city and a deprived community.
Okay.
NDC as a party and a social democratic party takes the lives of inner city dwellers very seriously. Hence, NDC is the party that actually took social intervention to the current state in which it is supposed to be, but NPP has actually neglected or pushed aside what we have put in place. I think
can you sort of like give us a little bit a background of like the deprived areas? And one of the areas I really want you to touch on would be the Zongo area and the elderly.
Well, I think that the Zongos are actually part of inner city dwellings.
All right then.
And they are mostly populated, but not exclusively by Muslims.
Yes.
But there are also other people. Since time immemorial, these areas were neglected. Not that they don't have the human resource to develop, but they were actually neglected by governments,
particularly the UP government, who perceived the people residing within these Zongos as foreigners.
Yes.
It is the NDC government, since we came to power under the leadership of His Excellency JJ, realized that these people are very important, and therefore the national cake should also be given to them. Hence, the policies of the government to develop the infrastructure deficiencies of the Zongo communities, the human resource
of the Zongo communities. They should also have the post office that any community has, the schools that any community has, the hospital that any community has, the electricity that any community has. These were deprived areas. They were deprived.
But when you say they were, are they, because I know they're still deprived. So are they still, because I know that people are still living.
About the level of deprivation.
Okay. All right then.
When in 1969, during Bussia's time, these people were perceived as foreigners. The policy of the PP, then government, was to deport most of the people. Over 600,000 people were deported from the Zongo communities. That is how wicked the NPP government is. Under Bussia, these people were deported, their properties were taken away, their children were, were left. Some people have to leave their children behind, and I can tell you the hardship that it brought onto that community.
Okay, you've given us a synopsis of it. So my question now still to you is the manifesto that's been put in place, because what you're talking about is things that is continually happening and things that happened in the past. What is different this time that this manifesto would actually improve the lives of people?
Well, NDC as a social democratic party
will improve on human resource of children from the Zongo. As Doctor said, amongst the 250 students that were taken to Cuba to be trained as doctors, over 40 of them were from the Zongo communities. And I can tell you, my brother was one of them. They came back, and I think they were supposed to write an exam.
What was the exam for?
I think
licensure. You know, this government, they are corrupt licensure.
To be able to practice in Ghana.
To be able to practice in Ghana, and the charges and favoritism. My brother was among those who arrived in Ghana. He came here in the UK before he went to Ghana. I can tell you now he's back here, because when he went to Ghana, he tried as he did, and most of the doctors were neglected. Even though the country was in need of doctors, simply because, and you know Akufo-Addo's vindictiveness, simply because these students were sent to Cuba by NDC. Akufo-Addo refused, government refused to employ them, even though the country needs these doctors during this COVID-19 period. So, by so doing, NDC's policy was to train people from within this community so that when they come back, they will serve their community. We also plan to train this Kaya and gradually leave them and shift them away from the Kaya thing, and also to give them respect and the legal backing, so that people will not abuse them. And also, you also know that within our communities, there is what we call Abawa, where children from poor...
so that's like child labor?
Child labor. Children from poor backgrounds or poor communities, or the Zongos or inner cities, were given to families or a family to be housemaids. And these children have been maltreated for far too long. It's our policy to make sure that in a situation where a child is with a family to work as a housemaid, he or she would have to be respected as a human being, if possible, to be taken or to be given education, because government policy will have to see to it that these children are treated as human beings. And also, we are coming with vocational training
Okay.
for Kayaye. Some of them will be given.
But are they still going to be called Kayaye? Because, you see, because now when I'm listening to this, I know anytime anybody is coming into government, they give all these fantastic promises. What I'm asking you now is what is going to be done differently?
You see, what is going to be done differently is because we have the commitment to lift these girls from the current state in which they are. We started already under the Ministry for Gender and Women Development with Nana Oyelita.
Yes.
Our government was the first government to bring that ministry.
Okay.
So that the ministry's this thing area is to see to it that these children, girls, and other deprived children are given the opportunities that other children have. So that, because we cannot get them out of Kayaye straight away, but it has to be a gradual process, giving some of them training, also making sure that their children are catered for in a nursery or something, so that they don't carry the load with the children at their back, and also to make sure that at the end of the day they have decent place to put their heads on. We have the commitment because as a party we've gone to the people to ask them what they expect us to do for them.
Yes.
We are the government of the people.
Yes.
So what the people told us is what we as a government are going to implement.
But when you say that, haven't the people told you this prior? Or is this a new thing?
It's not a new thing, but in human development, everything is done progressively.
Which is true.
Yes. So we've set up the ministry. Apart from the ministry, the ministry have started work. Unfortunately, we were out of power, and we expect the current government to continue with where we started. It's vividly clear. Everybody knows. Even hospitals that we built were stopped. Schools that we were building were stopped. Roads that we were building were stopped. Everything that has the mark of NDC or His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and our late President John Atta Mills or J.J. Rawlings, these people would make sure that it stopped. So it's not our fault that these things were truncated, but that is why we went to the people, told them what we did when we were in power, and then told and asked them, do you expect us to do something else, or what do you expect us to do? We sat with them. They told us what they wanted, like the Kayaye. Recently, you could see they met with our incoming Vice President, Professor Nana Jane Opoku-Adjuma. She sat with all the professional ladies in the country, including Kayaye, because they are also, we can call them professionals. But can we improve their livelihood? Yes, we can. And that is what we are going to do. Unlike MPP, who misused them, you remember the Vice President and Akufo-Addo, in fact, they are one, promised them a hostel. Today, where is the hostel? This is a government of deceit and lies. We are coming to make sure that the lives of these ladies is improved. Not only them, we also have street children selling dog chains, ice water, handkerchiefs on the streets. We need to bring all these children home in the sense that they deserve what every Ghanaian child deserves. They deserve dignity. And there are talents in them. And we are going to tap into these talents to make sure that Mother Ghana benefits from there. We can't do this without bringing them in, giving them decent accommodation, giving them proper education.
Okay.
If I say proper education, not just like this traffic light education, no, because we are coming with quality free senior high school. In fact,
I want you to hold on to that.
Yeah.
But you know, you've actually talked about the children. But I think one of the things that I'm still missing is you've not talked about the parents. Because if you're taking the children and you're taking care of the children, what's happening to the parents? Because most of this deprivation is a knock-on effect from the parents not being able to take care of their children. So is there any provision for the parents in all this?
Yes. I think there are poverty alleviation policies.
Okay.
Like LEAP in the system, and also the best way to help the parents is what? To create jobs.
Yes.
Because poverty is lack of means of sustenance.
Okay.
If the parents have good jobs,
yes,
they should be able to cater for their children.
Which is true.
We are not talking of NAPCO giving people temporary jobs. No. If you look at British economy, it's driven by one particular sector, real estate, followed by service.
Okay.
Remember, our government started with infrastructure.
Yes.
Infrastructure is not just about building. It's about creating jobs. By creating jobs, you create wealth. By creating wealth, you create a proper economy. It evolves because the worker gets money and he uses the money to purchase items. By purchasing items, the trader or the business person also gets money, or the manufacturer gets money so that to produce. By so doing, with the purchasing power, and then the infrastructure, within the infrastructure also, we have capital.
I want you to hold that thought. And you know the reason why I'm saying that? I've given you enough time to talk. I'm going to go back to Doctor. Okay, Doctor. You know, as you were talking, the reason why I keep going between both of you is I want everybody to have a sense of what you guys are going to talk about. And now, you know, we talked about the doctors that they're going to train. How does our manifesto intend to keep these doctors after they trained, not to go abroad? Because recently, I was listening to a lady who used to be the AU ambassador, to US. And I remember she says most of the top doctors in New York are Ghanaians. Do you understand? So now, my question to you is, after they've done all this training, the government has paid for them and all this stuff in a manifesto, which it says that it's going to do. How do we intend to keep them in Ghana?
Right, thank you. Our manifesto is a social contract with the people of Ghana. And then this is our pledge to Ghanaians, what we want to do. The next NDC government will upgrade the regional hospitals to teaching hospitals to train more doctors.
Okay.
And then once we train the doctors, we will make sure that they get the incentives that they need to stay in the country.
Okay.
We give chance to the people from rural areas.
What incentives would that be?
Incentives like the transportation, the car that they need, we waive the tax.
Okay.
We will give them accommodation, residential, facilities, and then if you stay in a rural area, we give you to stay or go to abroad for 5 years, where the Cubans are doing, other countries are doing that. So then they'll go there, they'll come back, and they see that after all, Ghana is better than where they've been, because some people, what you just said, is called brain drain, technical term.
Okay.
Where Ghana government will train doctors, nurses, pharmacists, and it takes a lot of money to train a doctor.
Which is true.
And then once they are trained, number one, this is because of this queer politics. What Honorable Awudu just said, somebody has been trained. You're not giving the job because you think the person is an NDC man. What do you expect the person to do? But we will employ them. The backlog of the people, we employ them. We give them what they need to be in the country.
Okay.
Plus, we make sure they go to where they come from.
Yeah.
And we give all this. So you know, if you go back to the 90s, where the first NDC government,
okay,
it was President Rawlings who made sure the electrification was extended. And now Ghana is the second to South Africa in terms of people got access to electricity. And this is NDC government. And NDC government, anytime we come to power, NDC government will make sure we add megawatts to augment what we have now. So this, coming back to these doctors, once they have what they need, abroad will be a thing of past. Because I know a lot of Ghanaians who are professionals, they would like to go home. Yes. But they don't want to go and face this kind of politics. Yes. They don't want to go home where they don't know where they will live. So if somebody, for instance, is living in Mampong and he wants to work, or living in Kumasi, he wants to work in Mampong, and the roads are okay, you know, it's a, you know, they can drive, go and come back like people do here. I know people from Manchester coming to London and go back.
Which is true. Because of our network, roads and everything is, you know. So this NDC government, we've done it before, and we do it. One thing, apart from the social contract, you know, we will reduce the maternal mortality rate to 50%. And how is that going to be done?
Okay. Let me give you the statistics. Before 1990s, yes, Ghana was, you know, Ghana's west among all the developing countries. The
mortality rate.
And then President Rawlings and NDC government brought it in 1990.
Can you explain what mortality rate means?
Mortality rate,
to the layman, yes.
Is death. You know, when somebody's giving birth,
yes,
you know, the death.
During the process,
and then it's calculated, you can calculate it in 10,000s or 100,000s. Okay. So in Ghana terms, when somebody's giving live birth and the person dies, that's what we call
the mortality
rate.
So when people are giving birth,
or when the person is pregnant, or when somebody terminates pregnancy within 42 days, and the person dies, it's all classified as that.
The mortality.
So when I go back to the statistics, in the 90s, President Rawlings and NDC government were able to bring this big figure to 760 per every 100,000. When you take every 100,000 people are going to give birth, 760 people, you know, unfortunately will lose their life. Yeah. And then we went all the way to when we came back power in 2015, 315, which is 1.54%. And then 2016, 314. So you can see it's reducing. Okay. And currently, Ghana is 128 per every 100,000 people going to give birth.
So what you're saying is it's gone up?
No, it's going down.
Okay.
It's going down. But the next NDC government is saying that, look, we started it. We know how to do it.
Yes.
So we will make sure we reduce about 50%, meaning we want to reduce it to 64 people. Okay. You know, 64 mothers going to give birth against 100,000 that, you know, statistically they can lose their life. But if you compare to UK, yes, it's 10 in 100,000. So if Ghana can bring it to 64, it means the NDC, the next NDC government, you know, I don't know where we take them. Okay. Whether, you know, if it's a political heaven, then so be it. You understand? And then another thing that I must say, we will give free anti-snake venom, you know, snake serum to people. And I give you statistics. If we take Savannah zone in the northern region alone, yes, in 2019, out of 857 people that were bitten by snake, 24 died. Wow. And when you talk about this, it's very huge because if you look at the age group, 15 to 44 years that they died. And then they died whilst they were doing their farming activities, and they died. And then these people, whether they were students trying to help their fathers or trying to help their parents, farms. Yes, they died. And then the snake bit them, you know, their leg or, you know. Okay. Yeah, that's what they did.
So how does the government, if NDC comes into power, how do they intend to fund this? Because giving free antivenom is not going to be free.
Yeah, it is.
If it's going to be free, how are they going to fund it?
Okay, always funding is a problem. But currently, this government is not doing what it's supposed to do. Because if you look at the National Health Insurance Scheme, for instance.
Yeah.
The law says it's 2012. Act 852, Section 54 says that within 30 days, once the finance minister collects the money, he has to give the money back to the National Health Fund.
Okay.
They are not doing that. They are using something. Okay. If you ask them, free education, this, that. But we are promising Ghanaians and saying, look, within those 30 days, the money will be there to use it. So it's not that there's no money, but the money is being used for other things that, is not supposed to be used.
Okay.
So because the money that we are taking from people for that purpose are not going where it should be. And then we are saying that we will put this to where it should be. And then we'll be able to fund all this. We'll be able to fund that.
Okay. So as you've actually said, I'm still going to back to Honorable Awudu. When the reason why I cut you off was sometimes we get too passionate about stuff. With me, I want you to talk to the people. I want you to I don't want there to be this smoke, mirrors and smokes, whereby because a party wants to get into power, we're saying, oh, this is what we can offer. We talked about the Kayaye, the families, trying to support them. In our society, we've got people that have got mental health issues. We've got people that are disabled. How, and these people live in the deprived areas, how is this manifesto going to be of benefit to them?
Thank you, Beatrice. Mental issues are not just an ordinary issue.
No.
There are mitigating factors.
Yes.
Some of which I can say
physical
are domestic.
Yes.
Physical.
Yeah.
In some cases, we say spiritual.
Yes.
That's right, yeah.
And I'll also say it could be economical. Because poverty sometimes can reduce human dignity to a level that to the man on the street, that person, well, in our distance, may look like a mad person. But there are mental, that those people may have mental issues that if society or the government shows interest in their well-being, such people could be treated in such a way that they will be able to lead a better life. Let's say, for instance, in a country where a government thinks that other Ghanaians don't matter. Other Ghanaians don't matter, even though I'm a citizen of a country.
Yes.
But for political expediency, a government in power tells me that because they want power, I'm not a Ghanaian. It could be frustrating, and I'm told that an old person could go and ask a younger person to come and vouch for me as a citizen. Meanwhile, I have a birth cert. I'm a Ghanaian by all other means. By the constitution, I'm a Ghanaian. These
You've
are
lived
things,
all your life, basically.
Yes, these are things that are driving some Ghanaians mad. But mental issue as it is now,
yes,
you could see that people are being deprived of their livelihood.
Yes.
A government that has members of its family alone ruling the country. Everything goes to their town. We talk about our community, right? NPP say that they care about the Zongo communities. They even have a ministry. All these are flukes, they are lies, deceits. Are astroturfs a priority in our community?
Of course not.
So I still come back to the question. How does our manifesto intend to make an impact? Because we know you said, I'm just trying to sort of expand on something. Because when you said that some of it is social, social is like alcoholism, drugs.
Yes.
So how have we got places whereby, because that actually has a knock-on effect?
Yes. And I think that with that, we are going to have social centers,
okay,
where such people could go
for treatment,
and also to be cared for by professionals
yes,
who have experience in mental health issues. Currently, mental health issues are not treated as a serious health issue in Ghana. But our government
yes,
is coming in with serious look at it and being sure that people with mental health are given the needed attention,
yes,
so that they will be able to remedy their lives and be back to their normal selves.
Yes.
But not only that, we also are going, the government of NDC is going to give them work, because we are creating jobs for people.
Yes.
And also, we are going to make sure that the education that adults need will be given, because some adults who were not educated still need education, so that they will be able to add value to their human lives.
Exactly. So then, as you're saying, our manifesto, as you rightly said, which is not often your lot manifesto, is saying that you've gone to the people, you've asked them what they want, and this is what that you are going to provide. But in what capacity are you going to be able to do that?
We are going to reorientate our social contracts with them, because we need to make the people understand what the government is doing. Because currently, what is happening is there are people in our community or in power now who think that they are more Ghanaians than the rest of Ghanaians. So they think that they have the top to bottom approach. They sit down, they call themselves experts and professionals. They come up with issues or solutions to everything, and then they throw it at us. It doesn't work in this cyber age. Because in every project, the most important person is the end user. So before you start any project, you have to go down to the end user, sit down with the end user, have a discussion with the end user, like the people in the deprived areas. Go to them, ask them what are their problems. By getting that information from them, you then have to go sit down, analyze those problems, go back to them. That is what NDC is doing currently. We are going back to the people and tell them, these are what you told us. We are starting with the plan. Come, let us all plan together, and then when it's time for the implementation, you are also going to be part of the implementation, because the implementation will include jobs, right? It will also include a whole lot of things, actually. Teaching, training, facilities will be provided, infrastructure will be provided. And in fact, at the end of it, the person who will benefit most is the citizen of the country, the end user, which is the people not only in the inner city, but every Ghanaian. The people in the Zongo communities are one of the most deprived. And NDC, MPP, forming this so-called Zongo ministry means nothing, because if you look at it historically, the office of the National Chief Imam was as a result of NDC policy that it was established. And two, the Hajj was given dignity when our late president, His Excellency Ivan Atta Mills, gave our flag bearer, then Vice President, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, the mandate to organize the Hajj. That was how come we have the Hajj village, which brings about respect and sanity in organizing Hajj for the people of the Zongo community. If you look at a community like Nima Mamubi, all the feeder roads in that community were actually as a result of NDC policies. And looking at the storm drainage, I think it will be the largest storm street drainage project in Ghana, because that starts from Kaukudi Junction all the way to Ring Road.
Okay.
It was started by NDC.
Okay.
When we left power, MPP decided not to touch it. So it's our policy to come back, continue the policy, complete the drainage, and then continue with our policy of improvement of the lives of the people of the Zongo community. And I would like to come to this because there was an issue that generated a lot of debate. That has to do with the mortuary issue, Islamic mortuary issue.
Okay, what I'll do is I'll let you stop there. And the reason why I say that is we are going to get a resource person who is Dr. Salifo.
Yes.
So we are going to stop there, take a break.
Okay.
And then try and get our resource person in. And then don't forget what you just said so that you can continue.
Okay, thank you.
All right, then. So, yeah. Thank you.
You need to call. Yeah. And
empty promises and one yati yati. Hey, Mahama bro, jam bro, wana bombo. Mahama bro, jam bro, ona. Mahama bro, jam bro, wana bombo. Mahama bro, jam bro, wana po. Hecho, wana po, kodo, wana po. Ebreo, na ebreo. Brabeso yemu, brabeji yenu, brabeso yemu. Twenty 4 years for Nana. 2020 years for Nana.
We're back with our resource person. His name is Dr. Yakubu Salifo. He's a lecturer in Lancaster. He's a lecturer at Lancaster University, and his specialty is palliative care. This evening, I'm going to ask him some questions because we've been talking about doctors and the medical aspect and the policies of health. So, Dr. Salifu, good evening. Please, can you give us a little bit of introduction of who you are and what you're going to be able to contribute to this discussion?
Hello, good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Yeah, first
Doctor.
of all, I want to greet you and your panelists.
Thank you.
At the studio and
You're
also
welcome.
the viewers.
Thank you.
So I am Dr. Yakubu Salifu. I'm a lecturer at Lancaster University and I teach palliative care. I'm a health professional with about 15 years in the practice.
Okay.
So I'm going to contribute to the free primary health care in the Manifesto of NDC.
Okay.
Moving forward to the 2020 elections in December.
Okay. So the question that I'm asking you now is, with your background and with your experience, you know the manifesto has come out with some health policies, yes?
Yeah.
Now, where do you think what they've actually, which is the big push, what they intend to portray in the policies of palliative care in Ghana now?
Okay. Thank you very much. I think I'll begin from the bigger picture of the primary health care, where the palliative care fit at some corner. So with the primary health care, what it means is the provision of care that are, preventive, promotive, and curative. And that's where the palliative aspect come in at the later part. But before then, I just want to re-emphasize the fact that the NDC has indeed done what we should have done several years ago by proposing to include this free primary health care in their manifesto.
Okay.
Because this is something that has been proposed long ago. So I can just talk about recently the Sustainable Development Goal 3. It talks about free care for everybody. I can talk about the 2005 World Health Assembly call for health for all. I can also talk about 2008 Kampala Declaration for Universal Health Care.
Okay.
Then the 2000 Millennium Development Goal also talked about that. Then as far back as 1978, the Amata Declaration also talked about it. And recently, 2018, the Astana Declaration all talks about free care for all.
Okay.
One important thing that I think NDC has done very good job is that it's better to have a plan, regardless of how imperfect it is, than not to have a plan at all. Because if you look at the manifestos of all the political parties, it's only NDC that has committed itself to this free universal basic education, free primary health care. Sorry.
Oh, it's okay. Are there any plans in the healthcare policies for people with chronic diseases such as diabetes and kidney?
Yes. So with the free primary health care, what it's going to do is going to give everybody access to free health care at the basic level. So when I'm talking about the basic level or the primary level, it means that from the CHIP compound, health post, clinic, polyclinic, up to district hospital, any care that is accessed will be free of charge. So that is what is meant by the free primary health care.
Okay, so tell me how they would employ trained healthcare professionals who are both already qualified. I'm talking about the backlog and yet to be qualified. How are they going to do that?
Yes, so with the free, thank you very much for this question. With the free primary health care, it is going to, remove one of the biggest barriers to healthcare, which is, financial barrier. Normally, one of the barriers to healthcare is financial barrier. So definitely, with the introduction of this free primary healthcare, is going to open the door gate for people who have had their diseases long years ago to access healthcare because it is free. And one important aspect that the NDC also put in their manifesto has to do with the health infrastructure. So the health for all, it goes with the health infrastructure, because of course you cannot provide health care without having a robust health infrastructure.
Yeah.
And I think what even make me happy has to do with the track record of NDC in delivering health infrastructure. We can talk about several regional hospitals, regional hospitals which has ancillary facilities such as the anesthesia training school, to train anesthetists to help in the healthcare delivery. We can talk about some institutional hospitals like the Bank Hospital of Ghana, the Maritime Hospital, the University of Ghana Hospital,
yes.
That even qualifies as, a quaternary hospital. Like if you are grouping them, we have the primary health, we go to secondary, then you go to tertiary, and then you now go to the quaternary. And the University of Ghana Medical Center, where recently is treating COVID patient, VVIP people, and even international, people who are accessing healthcare in Ghana. That is a very massive infrastructure development. Then we can also talk about polyclinics. Several of them, they invested 89.9 million euros into, the building of polyclinics at Bole, K2 North, which was recently, commissioned, Sola, Bupe, Somenya, Tono. Then there have been also district hospitals at Shai Osudoku, Dodowa, Ga East Hospital, Kwabenya. There are hospitals at Tepa, Kumawu, Abetifi, Garu. All these hospitals have not been, been completed. So that is the bedrock that is going to help with the implementation of the free primary health care. You cannot do a free primary health care without adequate infrastructure in place.
Okay, Doctor, thank you. That is all well and good, okay? But my other question to you is, how does the manifesto ensure that patients in Ghana who have got all these like kidney disease get their medication and they are going to be able to afford it? How are they going to do that?
Yes, and in the manifesto, they've also indicated the establishment of Cancer and Kidney Trust Fund.
Mm-hmm.
As you may be aware, now what we call non-communicable diseases, including cancers, and kidney diseases, is on the ascendancy.
Mm-hmm.
For instance, if you take prostate cancer, for instance, 1 in 4 black men get prostate cancer.
Okay.
As compared to 1 in 8 globally.
Okay.
So it is becoming a norm that, we are going to have increasing number of people who will need this, healthcare support. So they are going to establish this Cancer and Kidney Trust Fund, where people with cancer and kidney, condition can apply to the trust fund for financial support to assist them in their healthcare. And I want to also talk about the palliative care aspect. With these cancers and the kidneys,
yes.
Mostly when the disease become very complicated that it cannot be treated,
yes.
It cannot be cured,
Mm-hmm.
then we provide care that will cushion, that will support, that will palliate the person, and that's why it is called palliative care.
Okay.
And just as the free universal health care, the World Health Organization also in 2014
Doctor,
instigated, like, can you hear me?
Oh yeah, we can
Yes.
hear you now. Yes.
Yes. In 2014, the World Health Organization also, promoted the idea of all countries to integrate palliative care into their their healthcare system,
yes.
so that they will be able to provide care for people who are having this condition. And that one, of course, will need some kind of policy, education, and implementation. And all these things have been captured in the manifesto, which I think is very, very important.
You see, Doctor, currently there's something that you said that even there's somebody that's from Ghana that is actually happy that you mentioned Bole, because this discussion, as I say, I represent the people in Ghana. So I'm really happy that somebody actually realizes that you're taking them into consideration. So now moving forward, okay?
Yeah.
How do you ensure that the healthcare reaches the people in the remote areas in Ghana?
Very good. You know, with our health system in Ghana, that is one of the challenges that we have. The challenge has to do with inequality.
Yes.
You know, unlike maybe UK where we have, you know, the NHS, you know, we have trust system where every county or every, region within the UK will have a health system that is, you know, equally comparable with the others around. But if you come to Ghana, our health system is not equally distributed. And I think that is one of the reasons why the NDC manifesto has, you know, outlined that every district must have a district hospital up to a standard, so that you cannot say that you are providing equal access to health care where a group of people in some part of the country do not have access to, you know, a quality hospital. In that case, you are not being fair. So the bottom line is that you should get, you know, the health facilities in place. And now the free will come in. That will, you know, take the financial barrier off. And that is the most important thing. That said, we should be also very mindful of the challenges of this universal, you know, healthcare.
Yes.
We cannot just, you know, forget about the fact that it comes with challenge. One of the challenge that I foresee, of course, which you know, the manifesto people also need to look at, has to do with the financial sustainability. But at the moment, you know, they said they are going to, you know, fund it with the money from consolidated fund, the oil money, the tax, and, you know, the non-tax revenue. And I think it's a fantastic idea, because the wealth of a nation is on the citizens. If the citizens are healthy, if the citizens are well, then they'll be productive. The other challenge has to do with the health infrastructure or the inequality that I've just discussed.
Yes.
And to remove this health inequality, you need to open up by building more hospitals across the country. Another important factor that we need to look at has to do with poor supervision or management of the system. And for this one, I'll share my personal experience. I was at a consulting room in Ghana.
Okay.
And with this health insurance, a woman and her, I think 5 children entered into the consulting room. And I said, who is sick? And they said, all of us, we are sick. And I said, how? How is that possible?
Yes.
Have you had food poisoning? They said no. So apparently, it was only one person who was sick, but the health insurance was to expire in the next 2 weeks. So they came to get medications, go and hoard them, so when they get sick. So I have to counsel the woman and tell her that is not proper, because I asked her, so what medication were you coming to? It's a malaria drug. And I asked, so if unfortunately you get knocked down by a car, can you take the anti-malaria drug to cure that, you know, that malady? And they said no. So I think one of the issue has to do with the supervision and, you know, management of the system, so that people do not abuse the system to make it sustainable. Okay,
doctor, you know, when you said that, it's actually made me a bit sad, even though I chuckled a bit. It made me a bit sad because with what you're saying, the manifesto, what provisions is there so that people do not feel that they have to lie? Is it to actually get medication or try and hoard medicine? Is it because I keep saying that currently when any political party wants to come into power, they always want to give certain promises that they're going to be able to do it. In our case, how is this going to happen for our people? Because,
thank you very much.
Yes.
It's just like maybe a group of children who has been starved for very long, when you give them food, they'll eat very quickly and even try to steal some and hide because they've lived hunger, and perhaps they are anticipating that in the near future they are not going to get food. So one of the things is massive education, telling the people the system is going to stay forever, and also making the services available through what I just explained, prudent management. Because if you do not manage the system well, perhaps the government might be unable to pay the high bills that are being generated or the wastage. And with time, is going to make the system inefficient. So I think that is is like a project management. Step by step, as we get there, we also roll out some of the things to kind of check. They need to be very strong monetary and supervisory team to ensure that and also customer relation. They should have an open door policy whereby the users will also tell their version of how the system is working, so that constantly they are improving the service that they are being provided. Okay, so you're talking about accountability. Doctor, I wanted to give us a final word so that we can let you go, because I know you're a very busy man. So can you sort of give us a final word on how you feel this manifesto in comparison to the current government would be, will actually improve the lives of people? Thank you very much. So I will reiterate one of the points that I have said. The health of a people in every nation is the cornerstone for the nation's development. So the NDC's manifesto is superior to all the other manifestos that I've looked through. I've looked at the major political party, their manifesto, and none of them have, been very clear about what the healthcare system is going to be under their next government, and NDC is very superior. Again, the difference between a developed nation and any developing nation is infrastructure. Because I keep telling my people back home that for me, it is not the cold weather or the color of the skin that distinguishes between UK or US and Ghana. It's not the cold weather. It is the structures in place. It's the infrastructure. So if you have a government that is dedicated in providing an infrastructure that will, usher the country from one level to the other, then that is a government that we all need to rally behind. Because if you look at the People's Manifesto, Chapter 7, the theme is promoting human development. And that is where we have this primary health care. So the other thing that I'll talk about is that most of the question that our critics usually say that infrastructure is not a sign of any good governance. If my question is that if infrastructure is not a sign of any good governance, would the lack of infrastructure be a sign of a good governance? Never, because you need the framework, to help the nation to move forward. So I will actually go with this NDC manifesto that has a very robust, framework to help for the health delivery of the Ghanaians, which will include palliative care, cancer, and kidney diseases, which are mostly costly for people to afford. Most often than not, those of you who have been working in the studios and what have you, people come with their plea, to solicit for help. By the time sometimes they get the amount to help the person, maybe it is too late. Yes. So what this manifesto is going to do is that it's going to mobilize the fund that will involve contribution from people, contribution from the state. Then the fund is there. So as soon as somebody is diagnosed, just at the early stage, then the person can have access to this fund, and the person will have a better life and a quality of living. Doctor, thank you so much. I'm telling you, the man in Bole, he's been sending me messages. He says he's so happy about your explanation. So I want you to have a lovely evening, and thank you so much for your time. And we will talk again in the future. Thank you very much. And I want to also thank you and your listeners and the panelists for
Thank you,
fantastic
Doc.
work that you've been doing.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you, Doc.
Okay,
Yeah,
thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Okay, bye-bye.
Okay, bye-bye.
I'm back again with my dear panelists. Now, I'm going to seriously ask you, because with you, I stopped you for our resource person to come in. So now what I'm going to ask you, because you're doing the social protection, gender and social inclusion, okay? What I'm going to ask you is, how does the manifesto intend to address gender inequality, gender bias, and women in society? Because they've been always treated as a minority. In every society, it's not even just in African society, but in African society, it's even worse. So how does the manifesto intend to correct that or improve on that?
Thank you very much, Chair Lady Beatrice. And well, gender inequality seems to be deep in our communities.
That's right.
NDC, as a social democratic party, had a critical look at it, had a discussion with the people, and decided that from what the people said, that NDC party is going to take a much more improved approach to the issue, because it's something that we did previously when in power. So now, the government, the next NDC government will work towards the attainment of a minimum 30% quota of appointments for women.
Okay.
Which means 30% of appointments in all government establishments or within the government will go to our great women, our mothers and sisters, and also aunties. That is a big leap in terms of bringing women in. And you could also see that during our administration, we had more women coming in as part of our government. And currently, we have our the incoming vice president, Professor Jane Nana Ajima.
Yes.
Yes, and also we are going to facilitate easier access to land for women for their maximum participation in agriculture. We all know that mostly when you talk about land, it's the man. The woman plays a secondary role. It's all about the man. He purchases the land.
But that is in the past, because when you say that...
Yeah, I'm telling you about what was in our community. But NDC, as a social democratic party, sees it differently. We think that our women folks should have equal rights and equal opportunities as the men. So, coming in as a social democratic party, we are going to give the women the right to own their own land for agriculture
instead of them...
We mean on the farming basis?
Not only farming, because we don't only need land for farming.
Okay.
We may need land for other purposes.
For building houses.
But in the countryside, mostly land is acquired for farming.
Beatrice, let me help.
Okay, please do.
Yeah, let me help a little bit. Our policy, we will give vocational education, especially to women, when they talk about KIAs and all these women. But when they come to our community, men dominate because they are the main providers. They are the breadwinners of the family.
They used to be.
No, at the moment, we got that, but the percentage is too small as compared to Western world where we live in. So, because there's something called in Ghana chop money, and these men, they will choose to give it if they're happy with their wives or not. They push the women to certain area. But if you train these women, they've got their job and they're able to provide. I think we are not saying, we are not talking about 50-50. I think it will be near so that they can be part of decision making.
Okay.
Also, when we talk about women inequalities and everything, our manifesto is saying that we will amend the law to make maternity leave 4 months and give paternity leave 1 week.
Okay.
So it's not going to be women alone looking after the children.
Okay.
And man also looking after the baby.
So that is also in the manifesto.
It is in the manifesto.
Okay.
And then, when I read it, I was very, very happy because if gone are the days when somebody is giving birth, the man will just go to the farm and come back and they said, oh, he's giving birth, and they say, and then ask, was it a girl or boy? Now you are there, you are giving there, you have to look at the new baby, and then so this is very, very important. This is very important, and then it will bring the gap between, because the father will know how the woman is going through.
Yes.
Because you are there with the baby. Baby is crying night and day, and then you are there. You can't give excuse I'm going to work.
Because that's been taken away.
Exactly.
Okay, so as we're saying, because you continue with your submission, yes.
Our government will also create a national hotline to address gender-based violence, where
So that was domestic abuse.
That's domestic abuse, or I say domestic issues. Sometimes it's not always abuse, but there will be a hotline where the woman, it could be both way, or the man could call so that a social or a resource person will intervene before the police comes in to address the issue. And we also prioritize early childhood development and ensure creche and daycare centers and nurseries for children. This will be established in formal and non-formal workplaces, example markets, the ministries complex, and etc. So that if the woman is at the market center, she should have an opportunity to take her child to a nursery or a center to be catered for or to be looked after by a professional person, so that at the end of her trade, she could come and pick her child home. It's the same also with those working in the ministries. But when you go, even though you are in a maternity period, taking care of your child, you can still take the child to the workplace. A nursery or a child care center will be established, created, so that you'll be able to take your child there.
And you have peace of mind. That's
you
what
have a peace of mind, and you'll be more productive, because you know that there's a professional taking care of your child, so that at the end of your shift or of your work, you go and pick your child up, and then you both happily go home. And I think this will promote productivity. Also promoting public education against lynching and accusation of elderly women as witches. This happens.
I'm going to come back to you on that. Okay. Let me move to Doctor. Doctor, we spoke about the how it's going to be funded, the costing and stuff. So one of the questions that I'm going to ask you is, with this free medical, this primary health care, wouldn't it lead to increase of attendance? And wouldn't that this system impact on how are you going to be able to contain the numbers?
Okay, it's not going to increase. What's happened? Let me give the background of National Health Insurance Scheme.
Okay.
Currently, we got people who are exempted. we got under 18s and over 70.
Okay.
Our new government, our current, the next government, will make sure we reduce, amend the law and bring it to 65 years instead of 70.
Okay.
Which is it's good news to every Ghanaian which is over 60.
Okay.
It's good news. And then when it comes to, you've got direct and indirect. Indirect are people who are under 18 by in education or schooling, and then their parents got the health insurance card, so it covers them.
Okay.
That's indirect. And you've got a direct one, somebody under 5 years.
Yes.
And this person under the 5 years is automatic. What they have to do is go and do the card, you know, and then over 70 they pay registration fee and they get their card. And we've got people like pregnant women. All what they have to show is they are pregnant, and then they get their card. Okay. And then we have people who are from poor, very, very poor, you know,
very
under
deprived.
Under the LEAP thing, and then
program,
and then they get a card. But we are saying, our manifesto is saying, when we come to power, we will reduce the age and bring it to, 65, so that how many, if you look at the World Health, how many people, how Ghanaians survive the age, how you do it. How many people will live to 70 years anyway? You understand? So it is, I don't know. We have come to where we are now. And then we think about the people, and that's what the people said to us when we approached them, making this manifesto. And then they say, yes, we do it. Coming back to payment, yes. I've already said that some of the money, people, we get it from percentage from the VAT, and the percentage from, currently this government is taking something from the oil. And then about 50% of Ghanaian health services or healthcare is paid by out of pocket. Okay. Because some people, due to some reasons, they would like to pay. Okay. And then some people will go to private. But one thing, this primary healthcare is not going to be public only. It's going to be, we're going to get involved all these private hospitals. And then the good news is somebody who is qualified to be a nurse, a doctor, we can be posted to the private because they're still offering the same services. Yes. It's going to be two-way, like what somebody has done to the free secondary school system where it's only public. So Ghana is going to be a place that people are going to be there, and then they will say, like what Dr. Salifu said, somebody wants to hoard medicine because they think the insurance is running out. What about if it's free? Do you think this lady would, I don't know whether they went there by taxi or trotro. Do you think they will, take the children there and said, I want medicines? This brings corruption because...
And lack of accountability.
Exactly. So if it's free and they think I can go there anytime I want to go, then people will think I have to go there when I'm really, really ill, or I want somebody to look after me. So that's how it is. If you look at the people, NDC has done a lot. We are the government that brought health insurance scheme. Okay. This was piloted in Damango in 1995 during Rawlings regime. And then all the way we're trying to pilot in, I think we did one in Sawim, and we're trying to, and these people, that time they said it won't work. Okay. Unfortunately, 2000 election, we lost, they took over, and they implemented it national. You understand? Yeah. You see how people can behave. Yeah. So if you look at that, we managed, at first people were not, it was about 25, whatever, but in 2016 we managed to bring it to 40% of the population, and that population was 26.9 million. So 40% actually will be 10.7 million people. Okay. Out of 26 million, so almost half.
Half, okay.
See, that's NDC government.
Okay.
So when they come into power, a lot of people will take this, but they will only use this when they need specialized care, when they go to regional hospitals or whatever, because of the free primary health care, everything will be free anyway. But they still need their card because you don't know when you're going to get serious disease.
Or who qualifies to get the card.
Exactly. And like doctor said, you don't know when you're going to be knocked down by a car.
Yeah, yes.
So when it happens and then it's not minor ailments or something like that, you need to visit specialist hospital, then your card would kick in.
Okay.
You understand? So
Okay, so as you've said, I wanted us to, we've got a video that we have to play because I want you to talk about the elderly, how they cared. So that video would give us an idea of whatever the questions I'm going to ask.
Yes, and let me just say, give a brief statement on the witch camp and how it destroys lives.
Because the witch camp
vulnerable people.
Because this witch camp is actually geared towards the elderly.
Yes.
And some of the children.
Mostly is the elderly, old people in the community.
Okay.
Who are easily accused of witchery and then witchcraft.
Yeah.
And then most of them are taken or driven out of their villages to a camp where no one caters for them, no one cares about them. They are actually dumped in the camp to die.
So there's provisions in the manifesto, in your manifesto, for all that.
Yes, and
I just want
the NDC manifesto will support and empower vulnerable women and victims of socio-cultural practices, including inmates of the witch camps. Most of these camps are in the northern parts of Ghana. And in fact, if you look at the situation in which these old ladies live, you weep for them. I wish people would see the video and then.
It might be you someday.
Okay.
So the time to stop it is right now. There's no excuse for this. This is not acceptable. Our older people exist to share the experience with us. They were here before we came. In fact, they brought us here. We have no right to determine when they leave. From this, I want to thank everyone who helped. But as I said, we need to move on to eradicate this. Thank you all very much. And we will see, you know very well that my focus includes the agents. My focus is for the children, the women, the youth. That is why I'm charging you. I'm giving you a responsibility. Let it not be said again that this has happened. You are in the communities. My focus also includes the aged. Already when you grow old, you are vulnerable. That is bad enough. Your health is not in the best shape. That is bad enough. You shouldn't live in fear. You shouldn't live in fear among your own people. This is not acceptable. Only we can stop this. No NGO will come from anywhere and stop it. And we are capable of stopping it, and we must stop it. Peace, we should work towards inclusion. The country is for all of us. Everybody is part of it. We should all learn to live in peace with each other. Thank you very much.
Okay. Okay. So, Mr. Sani.
Yes.
I'm asking you this question again because when you look at our elderly now, they are being neglected. Because in the past, I remember my uncle told me that the reason why the sister had to stay at home was because they wanted her to take care of the family when everybody had traveled, you see. So now, I'm looking at the state in which the elderly who are very vulnerable are not being taken care of. How does this manifesto intend to try and rectify these negligible behaviors?
Thank you. I think that NDC, as a social democratic party, unlike what we currently have, we intend to improve access to justice in the rural and urban poor areas. so that such people will be given justice where injustice is committed. And we are also going to work towards establishing 2 shelters, one in the northern sector, that is in Tamale, and the other in the middle belt in Sunyani, so that in a case where such issues comes up, the victims could be housed. In most cases, either the community gets rid of that person, or the household or the family gets rid of that person. Where there is no shelter, it will be proper for the government to provide a shelter for such vulnerable people.
Can you break down what a shelter means? Because when you're talking about shelter,
shelter in this case, we are talking about an accommodation.
Okay.
Where that
for the elderly.
For the elderly or the abused.
Okay.
Person, so that the person could have a place to lay his or her head, and to be able to live as a human being.
Okay.
Where there will also be support from the government, because there will be social workers and mental health workers in some cases to look at their mental situation and their health.
Yes.
And then to be sure that these people have improved or have been brought back to their normal self. And to add to it also, NDC will promote market women's savings and credit schemes in the marketplaces, because our mothers, sisters, aunties are an integral part of our economy, and in fact an important aspect of our economies. Where the man goes to the farm, the woman follows to carry firewood. Not only firewood, she will come home, prepare meal for the family, and also take care of the children. So for the woman, it is important for her also to have means of livelihood. So NDC has taken this seriously. Our mothers who sell things in the market, like our local restaurants, those who have kiosks and sell things, NDC wants to have a savings and credit scheme in the marketplace. Previously, we call this susu, but this will be regularized by the government, so that they will be given funds as a loan or small loan, which they could invest in their businesses, or they could use as a startup fund for a business. And then as the business progresses and they make their profits, they'll be able to pay this back. And also we will strengthen the legal and policy framework by enacting the Affirmative Action Bill, the Property Rights of Spouses Bill, the Interstate Succession Amendment Bill, the Domestic Workers Law. In most cases in our community, when death visits families, we do see families getting rid of the spouse, saying that the property belongs to the deceased or the family, so the family is taking over, you have to leave the house. I think it's not fair. Our government have had this discussion with our communities, and the communities think that this property rights of spouses bill will have to be looked at. Where you live with your spouse and you work together to build a family. I think as it is here in the UK, they are human, we are human. We should also look at our laws in such a way that it will benefit us, not.
But is all that in the manifesto, though?
It's in the manifesto. So we are going to enact such bills so that the spouses will have the right to those things. And also, like the domestic workers law, as I said, the way the abawers or domestic workers are treated is not right. They are treated more or less as slaves. They are just, they are given the crumbs. They are not given proper food. Sometimes.
How does the manifesto intend to rectify that?
I think to rectify this, there has to be a law. Apart from the law, there has to, or there will be the enforcement of the law to make sure that when you engage the services of a domestic worker, you have to know that the law is on you.
Yes.
The worker has a right, and that right must be respected. That worker must be respected. That worker must be treated as you would treat your own children.
Yes.
As you are treated by your workers, by your workplace, you must also, your employers, you must also respect the person you employ as a domestic worker. And I think this is very good, because as a country, we've allowed these things to continue for far too long.
Okay, so
we also look at the interstate succession.
Okay, I'll come back to you on that. I want to ask Doctor something. You said it stated in the manifesto that when your government comes into power,
That's right.
they will upgrade hospitals and train more healthcare professionals. How is that going to be done?
Right, okay. Before I answer that question, let me say something about Senior Woody, what you just said.
Okay.
It's interlinked with health.
Yes.
You know the people that they classify them as witches.
Yes.
When they get old, at a certain age, you get something like dementia. You can't even remember. They can say something. There was a lady who said, people were asking, what have you done? What have you done? He said, I killed Jesus and I've eaten. How can you kill Jesus and eat Jesus? And then, you see, and they say, oh, he's a witch. You understand? So what I'm trying to say is, with our free primary health care, all these people can be catered for, because some of the people, they need health care. But because of money, their family members say, oh, yeah, it's becoming like a burden. And then, oh, it's a witch. And then they just throw the person, they think the person can go on for their life.
So they're neglected.
Exactly. And then, one thing, we will modernize Panten and then extend the facility, Panten Hospital, for mental health, so that all these people can be looked after. Because currently, what is being, they haven't got money, the director of the facility always crying for money and everything. We will look after them. When we look after them and they are all looking after these people, nobody will think even taking murder or whatever. Have you ever heard someone who is very rich say the mom's witch and they take him to the camp? It's just the poor people. They don't want. It's like leaving your responsibility for somebody to, and then mom will stay there, become so sad and die. We are not going to do that. We will look after these people because they will access free healthcare.
Okay.
Now your question.
Okay, so my question. Do you remember the question though?
Yeah, you said something there, but I would like you to repeat it if you don't mind.
Okay. I'm saying that it's stated in the NDC manifesto that when you come into government, you'll upgrade hospitals and train more health professionals. How do you intend to do that?
Okay. Training.
Yes.
If you want to, every country that wants to move forward or must move to a certain ladder in terms of development, training and education is very important, and health. So what we are trying to do is, these hospitals, number one, we will, all the districts that been created and they haven't got these hospitals, we will make sure they have hospitals. And then the 6 new regional hospitals, they are going to have new regions. They will have regional hospitals. So once they become regional hospitals, all the regional hospitals in the 16 regions in Ghana, they'll be upgraded to teaching hospitals. Once they're teaching hospitals, they'll be able to train doctors, nurses, and other things. And then they are capable of doing it.
Yes. Because
so many professionals that they can train. But what's happening now is that we are preventing them. That's why we started building hospitals. Kumawu, Bekwai, they've done it because they completed Bekwai. But Kumawu, if you pass that place, you'll be shocked. The bushes are now becoming forests. you know, and then the snakes and then the antelopes are just dancing and having nightclubs over there.
In those
Kumawu, because they left, because they left it.
And who built those hospitals?
President John Mahama and NDC government started it, and this government came and he said, I don't wanna even say it, because they know that if they complete it, you know, it becomes somebody's credit.
That's how vindictive they are.
How they, but governance is continuous. And now, even University of Ghana Hospital, they didn't want to open it. They said he hasn't got generator, he hasn't got this, and then journalists went there, they videoed the place with big generating plant. And then they said, oh no, we have to upgrade this. They came out to say, no, everything is there. They only started using it when they see COVID. And look, guess who went there? Ministers and VIP people. So what do you think about this government? You know, it's for them, it's good. For somebody else, no. And I quite remember that somebody from Liberia or Sierra Leone, a minister, came there, was looked after. You understand? And it's one of the
in
best,
that hospital.
Yes, one of the best hospitals in, if not West Africa,
best in West Africa, and one of the best in Africa. Actually.
You understand?
Yes.
So that's what it is. You know. So we will train these people. All these hospitals we are building, we need people to man the hospitals. We train them, and once we train them, people think, oh, training, how are you going to get money? When you train them, they get job. They'll pay you taxes. You use the taxes. It's like recycling.
Exactly.
They go back and then we use it. But if a lot of people haven't got job, and then they are forming unemployment association, graduate association, or whatever, you know, how are you going to get tax for them?
MPP, you know,
you understand?
Creation.
You understand? How are you going to get that? So we will employ them. We make sure we employ them, and we make sure all these hospitals are completed. And once they are completed, we train them. And when we train them, we give them incentive to remain in the country to avoid brain drain.
Okay. Okay, now, moving back to you.
Yes, as I was...
before you go there, I have to say something quickly.
Okay, please.
I have to say something quickly.
Okay.
You know, Dr. Salifu was talking about, you know, medicine.
Yes.
When we were in power, President Mahama gave the pharmaceutical company millions, if my memory serves me right, about 50 million Ghana cedis, because they were going bust. Gave them, and now some of them are manufacturing HIV medicines, generic medicines that cheaper. So we are going to do more.
Okay.
We're going to empower them to produce internal one, give them tax incentive, and when they produce, medicines is going to be cheaper.
What would their tax incentives be?
Tax incentive, like current when you were in power, when you import raw materials, we're not paying import duty.
Okay.
This government came and said no, you know, and then change it and put somewhere, and then they wanted to give it to someone, and now they change their mind, and then they are everywhere. What we are trying to do is, you got the raw materials, come and manufacture here. Because when we are manufacturing, we got people packing the medicine, mining the machines.
So you're creating jobs, that's what you're saying. Okay.
Yes, I have about 30% local.
You understand? Okay. And then people will be sending the medicines around to hospitals and, you know, pharmacies. They're all, you know, be creating jobs everywhere. So that's what we will do. So I will leave you to go to Senior.
Okay.
As I was saying, I think that women in our society are important, and as the saying goes, if you educate a man, you educate a person.
That's right.
If you educate a woman, you educate a family.
Okay.
So women are important. Even I think when God created Adam, he realized
I'm
that...
trying to not take offense to what you're saying. You know why I'm saying that? When you say women are important, so that means previously they weren't.
No. I'm talking in relation to how women are treated in our society.
Our community.
You understand? That is why we have something like the Dovsu in Ghana. You know, coming in to do what? To help alleviate some of the issues related to women. So as a government, if we come to power, we are going to elevate Dovsu to the status of directorate.
What is a Dovsu?
That is domestic violence institute in Ghana. So that
in Ghana Police Service.
Of directorates, will elevate Dovsu.
How would that work?
Basically, if there are domestic issues, women calls on them to help them out. But we are going to improve on the workings of Dovsu by elevating their status to that of directorate to be headed by a director general, and also complete the construction of those two headquarters, which we began. But as usual, you know what happens?
No.
The vindictive government of NDC, the vindictive government of MPP
Yes.
left it to rot.
Okay.
Okay, and then we are going to also create DOFSU units in police station where there are none. Because if such issues goes to the police station, there are sections of the police station or departments that takes those issues up. And we are also going to provide, because most of those involved in these issues are the less privileged in the society.
Okay.
So we are going to provide income support to the Kayayes during humanitarian emergencies and crises. When there are these humanitarian crises, you see them sleeping out with their children and anything at the mercy of the weather, and also criminals and also people who will target them. We'll also ensure automatic registration of Kayayes onto the National Health Insurance Scheme for those living in emergency disaster areas. In that case, they will have free National Health Insurance registration. And NDC, as a Social Democratic Party, as I was saying, listens to the people.
Yes.
And we are working with the people. That is why our manifesto is the People's Manifesto. I was talking about the mortuary.
Okay.
Yes, issue. As a Muslim, I can tell you that mortuary is important.
So that falls under the healthcare infrastructure aspect, or what does it fall
because
under?
The dead, because in life we have two important parts of life. That is birth and death.
Okay.
You laugh with one, you cry with other.
Yes.
And it's part of the health
intertwined
system.
Yeah.
Yes. So in Islam, there is nowhere that is mentioned that the dead cannot be kept in a mortuary.
Okay.
And in our manifesto, what we say in the what was stated in the manifesto was we are going to build or construct a mortuary within hospitals. Mostly these are hospitals where currently Muslims go for their dead.
Okay.
But the issues that Muslims go through, because for religious reasons, there are ways we prepare our dead for burial. And I challenge any Muslim, and I challenge the MPP to mention any Islamic country in the world without a mortuary. I challenge MPP from Baumia. He's been I'm challenging Baumia and the Nasara coordinator to mention a single Islamic country without a mortuary in the world. Even Saudi Arabia
you can't go with
has
that because you have to preserve
mortuaries.
Okay.
Saudi Arabia has mortuaries. And Islam is a simple religion.
Okay.
Islam makes provisions for any eventualities. If you are in crisis, I can tell you, Muslims don't eat pork. But in a situation where there is no food
and you are starving,
you are permitted to eat pork.
Okay.
So Islam has made provisions for everything. Yes, we are supposed to bury our dead as soon as possible, but it does not say that we should not keep our dead in the mortuaries. Let me tell you, here in the UK, we don't even keep our dead in the hospital mortuaries. The mosques have mortuaries within them.
Okay.
When you go to East, you are here, some of our party members,
including members of the Ghana Muslim Youth Association in the UK. When our members pass on, we go to either Bala Mosque, where there is a mortuary for our dead, where the dead is treated according to the guidelines of Islam.
So why is there so much of a controversy?
Listen, within the mosque, after dressing and everything, when we finish prayers, there is a special prayer for the dead, which is also said in the mosque before the dead is carried to Garden of Peace, which is a cemetery for Muslims. When you go to East London Mosque, we have mortuary in the mosque.
Okay.
We have mortuaries within mosques even. So this brouhaha from MPP is because they have no message. They have failed.
Playing mischief.
They are playing mischief, an ugly mischief, because they have failed the people of the Zongos. They called us aliens. They never gave us holidays. It was the MPP.
Okay, I appreciate
it was
that.
the NDC that gave Muslims holidays.
Okay, I appreciate that.
It was the NDC that gave respectability.
I know you're very, I know you're very passionate about it, but it's just that it's been misinterpreted. That's the reason why I want you to explain why they are having an issue with saying that you what's it called, JM intends to build a mortuary. Is that exactly what is in the manifesto? What is in the manifesto?
What is in the manifesto is what I'm telling you.
Okay.
They went out to tell lies.
No. What is in the manifesto?
The manifesto states that we had consultations with Muslims.
Okay.
Ghanaian Muslims.
Yeah, that's what I want you to explain.
And ask them, what are some of the things that you want us, the Social Democratic Party, NDC, to do for you? Because we are coming to power come 7 December 2020. So what do you want us to do for you? During those discussions, the Muslims, their leaders, say one of the important and worrying thing that if you could do for us, we'll be happy and much appreciated, is to give us a mortuary.
So it was a request?
It was a request by us, the Muslim community in Ghana.
Okay.
We need a mortuary.
Okay.
So, and as I told you, the request was made. We analyzed the request. As part of the plan, we sent it back to the people. This is what we are going to do within hospitals, not within Zongos, but within hospitals. Like Kolebu will have an Islamic mortuary attached to the mortuary there. Reach Hospital will have Islamic mortuary attached to that.
Okay.
You go to Police Hospital, we have Islamic mortuary attached to that. That is what is in the manifesto.
Okay.
I don't know. They say they can read. Though and gone were the days when our fathers or our parents were illiterate. We are well read. We are well read and professionals in our own right. If they can't understand that common English, then sorry, they don't even have the right to rule Ghana.
Okay, you know, when you say that, I have heard from other Muslims that they are actually condemning what you're saying. So how is it the translation of the message, or because we're not talking about just the party, that they're actually making this inference?
You heard, did you hear it here in the UK or where?
I heard it on one of the program whereby there was a guy that claimed that he was a Muslim. And he said that you guys don't need a mortuary.
You see, can I let me help you?
Please let him to interject.
Let me help you 1 minute. You see, what's happening now in Ghana is Muslims, in terms of body, they don't play with it. Not like Christians, they can leave body for 1 year, whatever. Muslims got tradition. They have to bury the body within specific period, as soon as possible, if I may say.
Yeah, as soon as possible.
So, but what they are doing in Ghana now, or the practice being, they mix the bodies.
Okay.
And Muslims do not play with their bodies. Anyone, and then even when you go to mosque, because where women sit,
we separate
you understand?
male from females.
So there, they can put body, mix women, whatever. Islamic, prevents.
The good process.
Yes, prohibits something like that. So if there's mosque that's specific for Muslims, all these things, women are somewhere, men are somewhere.
Okay.
And it's a fantastic idea that can move the country. And remember, when we were introducing Muslims holiday, like Senior Wudu said, these people say, no. Now Baumia say, yeah, we did it. That's how these people are. So what they're trying to do, they know that it's a popular policy.
Yes.
They turn around because of mischief to say, oh, they are putting mortuaries in Zongo. So that they want more people to die and put mortuaries. That is a pure political
fabrication.
That's right. So that's what I wanted to add to.
Because the mistake they are making is that we are creating mortuaries because we want people to die. What about hospital? Do we build hospital because we want people to get sick?
Or mortuaries because of,
I mean, this is NPP's illogical logic. It does not hold water. We are talking about human beings here. And as human beings, we are progressive.
Yes.
That's right.
Whatever, even to prepare a meal or to prepare a soup, you start from somewhere, you mix everything.
That's right.
Gradually, you raise the fire, you lower the fire, and then you get your meal. That is how human development is. You start something, you add other things. It's just like a project.
Exactly.
Currently in IT, we don't use the old system. We work iteratively.
Okay.
Using agile methodology, we work together.
Can you break that down? Because you're talking to people that don't understand the technical aspect of it.
Basically,
yes,
we work as a community.
Yes.
Doc is here, he's in medicine. You are here.
Project manager.
Project management. I'm also in IT.
Yeah.
Project management in other areas.
Yes.
We are all important to our community.
That's right.
None of us could do all, or none of us is 100%.
Which is true.
Yeah, we depend on each other.
But our individual contributions coming together will do the whole thing, and then get us all moving forward. So NDC as a party is not saying that we know all. That is why we go to the people, ask them what they need or what they require us to do when we come to power from 7th December. From what they gave us, we sat down, analyzed everything, went back to them and said, look, this is what we've given and this is how we want to move ahead with it. Is it okay with you? The people said, okay, we agreed to it. Just look at this Okada issue. We took it.
Okay. Because we're talking about social.
Yes. So let me go on that tangent. So this mortuary issue is simple mischief. It has no bearing on any Islamic this thing. What NDC is doing is the right thing, and I challenge them to mention a single Islamic country without a mortuary. If the person is in UK and he says that is not important, tell that person to go to the Ghana Muslim Welfare Center and say that if he dies, he should not be taken to any of the Islamic mortuaries here.
Okay.
I dare them because it is important. That is why we have mosque. Even though we have our mosque in North London, it's not big enough to have a mortuary. Otherwise, we would have a mortuary in that mosque.
Okay.
So it's the right thing NDC is doing.
Okay.
We Muslims requested for it, and inshallah, come 7th December, when we come to power, we are going
that will be implemented.
That will be implemented, and it will be implemented fully with the support of Muslims. We are not going to just sit down
and want the government alone to do it. We would go there
and support.
Take our pickaxe and shovel, not to cut sod, but to build the mortuary.
I'd like to see that.
Okay. So now, you know, when you were talking about the LEAP program.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Please, can you expand on that?
Okay. LEAP program is bring it to everyone's understanding. Is for poor people.
Okay.
And I will talk about the health issue, and then because of all this poverty, that's why we are giving this free health care issue. So I don't want to go too much, because these people are the people that they can't have 3 square meals a day. Even one sometimes becomes very, very difficult, and then because of that, it's destroying families. But let me say this quickly.
Okay.
NDC government will construct 2 police hospitals. Okay. One in the middle belt, and then the other one in northern zones.
Okay.
Then we will expand the 37 military hospital to make sure it takes more people, and then we modernize it. We will also complete phase 3 of University of Ghana Medical Center and phase 2 of Greater Accra Hospital.
All that is in the manifesto?
It is in the manifesto.
Okay.
And then after that, what we will do is we make sure every district hospital has got blood bank, because at the moment it's regional hospitals, and then for somebody is losing blood and they have to go to regional, and then these people said the drone, and then we don't know what the drone is doing. You understand? And then my grandma in the village said drum. What the drum? And I said, what drum? We put water in drum. They said no drum, the one that it fell somewhere. You understand? So what I'm trying to say is this is a good manifesto, and then the more I read about the health stuff in this manifesto, I love this manifesto. Okay. And I entreat every Ghanaian to read our manifesto. This is what we are saying. This is the only way we can move our country, Ghana, forward. And vote NDC and President John Mahama into power to bring all this. And then another 4 years, Ghana will change to become what we want it to be.
You see, currently, because we've only got a few minutes to go, so I want everybody to summarize on their topic. You've gone, and I'm still going to come back to you. So now we still talk about the deprived people. We talk about the kids that are on the side of the road. We're talking about kids that have been sold into sex trade and all that stuff. How is this manifesto going to help all these children? Because there are parents that they actually send their kids out to go and, you know...
Not in all cases.
Yeah, but in most of the cases, because I did tourism. And I know that there is sex trade for the younger children. I know that goes on in Ghana. What I'm saying is, in this manifesto, how is the manifesto going to help these kids? You know, because it's the parents that are actually putting these kids out. We're not talking about the kids that are taken. So how is this manifesto going to protect these children?
One, I think, is the enactment of law to protect them. 2, training, vocational training. And 3, also the free SHS. Actually, the poor implemented free SHS, now the traffic light, has its negative bearing on some of these children.
When you say traffic light, what is the traffic light?
You go to school for 2 months, and then you come home.
Yellow and green.
And then they give you green lights to come to school, red lights to go home, yellow lights to go on vacation. It doesn't work.
It's just that you're saying it. I don't know what you're talking about. So when you talk about green, yellow, to somebody that doesn't know...
Is, now, they created a situation that they cannot manage.
Okay.
The point is, when you have a big project, because the most important aspects of a project are 3: finance, time, and quality. Right? So before you start a project, you have to sit down and analyze your project
and assess
everything, and be sure that you have the right funding, and be sure that you can complete it within specific time. Failure to do that will increase the cost. Okay, but in this case, you want to implement a policy without critically analyzing the policy, without understanding what the policy is all about, it has to do with human beings, it has to do with numbers. Because it has to do with numbers, you have to be sure that you have enough accommodation or enough space to cater for those numbers. You remember when former President Kufuor extended the school SHS to 4 years, which means the numbers increased. We came and reduced it to
3 years.
3, which means there will be an excess number. What did we do? We built more classrooms to take in the numbers.
The excess.
These people implemented this policy cheaply because they wanted, to use it for their campaign. And now the children go home, stay home for a long period of time, instead of them to study, because most of the children.
You see, I don't want us to dwell
most of the children.
What I'm saying is, I don't want us to dwell on, because our manifesto, because what you're saying, okay, they did that. What is our part? Is it because we are looking at the progressive nature of what we intend or the party intends to do?
Yeah, basically, what we want to do
because
is
I'm speaking on behalf of the normal Ghanaian.
Build more classrooms.
Okay.
We want to train most of these children.
Okay.
We have to improve. We want to improve on their health.
Okay.
We also have to because some of them are from poor families. The LEAP, this livelihood program, is to support the poorest in the community with funds, so that they'll be able to cater for their family.
Okay.
And we are going to increase the amount that goes into the program. And we are also going to increase the percentage of the District Assembly's Common Fund, which is reserved for persons with disability. Mind you, this government currently has 125 ministers. The cost of these ministers
can do something.
If we cut the number down, the money that is saved will save the lives of a lot of poor Ghanaians.
Okay. Yeah. It's just that because of the limited time, I want Doctor to.
Senior Udu said something. Quickly, let me say something. The traffic light that you were asking about.
Yes.
They're giving these school children colors. Green to go to school.
What colors?
Colors.
Red.
No, green. You got green and orange or yellow. Yeah. So these are the colors they're giving them, and then some of them, they can stay at home 4 months and everything. So that's what we call traffic light. Okay. And then we are saying the community-based schools that we were doing, that people, they don't have to travel far. They can just walk into the school like you do in this country. And these people say, no, it's not a good idea. So they are left, most of them are left there. So what we are saying is, as soon as with the big push, we will build these schools as soon as possible to free the classrooms so that all these children will have place to go. So there's no traffic light anymore. You go, and then, when it's vacation, everyone's vacation. But now, some people are in vacation, some people are on vacation, and others are in school, and they don't know what they're doing. And the parents are paying a lot of money to educate their children privately, which is a lot of money. That's what Senior Udu was trying to say about the traffic light, because they give them colors. And so that's why green, yellow, and then red.
Okay. I didn't know what it was.
Because skills training is
no, it's just now, because of the time factor, I want him to wrap up.
Okay.
So, Doctor, yes.
Yeah.
On the health issue and training.
Right. Yeah.
Yes.
What we are saying is, this manifesto, we put all the things that we want to do. And I've already said so many things. But the one thing I would say is the big push, which the NDC government will spend $10 billion.
Okay.
To make sure all these hospitals that have been left of this government because of how they didn't start it. So I'm not going to complete it. All these things, people living in that area, vote for NDC. When you vote for NDC, we complete for you. We are also saying that when you vote for us, you are going to have free primary health care. Then, when you are having malaria or whatever, you don't have to be worried.
Okay.
You don't have to take the whole family and then say, treat them, because and it might be that they don't have malaria. And at the same time, we are saying all the backlog You got children, you got sisters, you got brothers. They completed, they are qualified nurses, doctors, whatever. They have been employed. If we come into power and we complete all these hospitals, who has to work there? The same people. We recruit them, they work there, and then hospital becomes easily accessible to every Ghanaian. That's why we're asking people to take NDC very serious and then vote for us. Vote for President John Mahama and the NDC government, and we implement this. And life in terms of healthcare will be very, very easy for Ghanaians. Thank you very much.
You see, this evening, okay, it seems like you are itching to say something.
Yes, I think that the good people of Ghana have a decision to make. Come 7th December 2007. To me, I think the decision is about a party who cares about you, a party which is passionate about the well-being of Ghanaians, against the party that is discriminatory, androcentric, and the party that thinks of only its family and members. Please vote for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama and NDC come 7th December 2020. Don't be deceived. Don't be deceived with pickaxe and shovels for sword cutting. They were in power for 4 years. If they have anything to do, they would have done it in their first or second or third year. Not few months to election that the president, who has failed Ghanaians and is seen all over the world, today Ghana is a hippie country. Please vote for His Excellency John Dramani Mahama come 7th December 2020. Thank you very much for watching this program, and we are with you. The People's Manifesto, we've listened to you, and we are going to work with you. You are going to give us the mandate, and we are going to work with you and for you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much for that conclusion. I thank everybody for watching, and with me, I always say I'm Ghanaian first, because our country, where we are now, is not where we're supposed to be. I thank everybody for watching. I thank everybody for giving up their time, and I pray that come 7th December, a wise decision is made, because it is the well-being of our people that is prominent and is essential. And I thank everybody for actually making sure that the improvements that any government intends to give is actually adhered to. Thank you, and have a lovely evening. Good night.
Rabeso yemo na yebreo 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 na yebreo 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 na yebreo 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 na yebreo yebreo yebrepa rabeji yeno rabeso yemo rabeji yeno rabeso yemo ejo bodo baby, mi beja mi tina mi huse groma ye feba, groma ye nice, sekra ye fine. Mi bisa ye na ye si Mahama ne ye waya dio. Koshe rigisu, koshe kotoka, sisi sku wadai, muma ye mpini ne waya dio. Ye bezu, Mahama ye peza, ye bezu, su ye pesa Mahama enkasa Risa fedie ye hu Ey Yasiya siyo yasiya sa fedie ye hu Ye modu Ye breo Sure.